Hi, I'm Aaron Tomlinson. Welcome to Conscious Spirituality. And in this video, I want to talk about how our perceptions shape our view of reality and determine, or rather predetermine, what it is that we experience and how that relates to the supernatural, scientific materialism, and things like that. So let's get started with this. So it's an interesting thing that we will limit our experiences based on how we perceive the world. And our perceptions of the world are dictated to us by our beliefs and what we anticipate or what we believe we will experience in any experience that we have. So the truth is that our brains cannot deal with all of the information that's coming at us at any given moment in time. It is absolutely scientifically true, absolutely repeatable, which I'll demonstrate for you in a minute, or at least explain to you in a minute, that we do not perceive the world as it is. None of us do. We perceive it as we believe it to be, because since we can't deal with all the sensory information that's coming at us from this world at any given moment in time, and that's just external objective information that's coming to us from the world at large around us. That doesn't even count the stuff that's going on inside of us. We can only handle a certain amount of information at any given point in time. So our brains are wired to do for us three things to help us make sense out of the world as it relates to our perception. What are those three things that we do? We generalize things, we delete information, and we distort information. Again, this is an inescapable truth of neuroscience. So let me give you examples. Our brains are constantly anticipating how the world is going to behave or how reality is going to be for us based on what we believe about the world, about what's going to happen, or about how the nature of things and the existence of things. So, like I said, we do these three things. We generalize, meaning we tend to take our experiences and put them in large categories. We can see this anytime couples, for example, might get into fights about house chores or things like that. So, for example, my wife might say to me, "Aaron, you never take out the trash." Now, I know for a fact there have been times that I take out the trash. Now, granted, I don't do it consistently. My wife usually takes out the trash, and it's fine. But if she was to get upset with me because she was taking out the trash again and say, "You never take out the trash," and I can think of, let's just say three times in our entire marriage that I took out the trash. Those three times that I took out the trash would negate her belief or her statement that I never take out the trash. Because if I never take out the trash, there couldn't be those three times that I did as counterexamples. And so the fact that I did do it three times negates her statement. This is hypothetical. Her statement that I never take out the trash, because if it was never, it would be never. So that's an example of generalizations. Anytime we say to somebody, "You never do this," or "This always happens," we're generalizing. Now, we also delete information. So let me give you an example. If I were to tell you, notice right now how your right pinky toe, your right smallest toe, feels in your shoe right now. Notice the feeling of your sock or your shoe, or if you're barefoot, whatever it's resting on. Chances are pretty good that until I invited you to consider that information that was coming into you, that you had completely deleted it. You were completely unaware of how your little toe felt in your shoe, or how it felt if you're barefoot laying against whatever it is. Or notice the temperature. If you're barefoot, notice the temperature of your left toe, and notice how it might be different than the temperature, say, of your armpits or something. You see what I'm saying? So the fact is, until you're invited to consider that information or think about that information, more than likely, it was completely deleted from your consciousness. Now, it gets even worse than this. And this is repeatable over and over again. I would use various different illustrations that my inexperience with YouTube and my lack of time, because I want to get this video posted, prevents me from showing you the actual examples. But I would repeat over and over again in seminars that I did, where I would show information, I would show things that people did not expect to see. In one case, in a video of a team playing basketball. In other instances, simple sentences that would be written up on a whiteboard. And people will see what they expect to see. There will be some anomaly, some subtle anomaly in the sentence, or something completely and totally unexpected to happen during a basketball game. And without exception, in seminar after seminar after seminar, people would delete information that was in the sentence, or they would delete activity that was actually happening on the basketball court. And when you would tell them, did you notice this happening on the basketball court? And 95% of them would say no. I don't know if the other 5% saw it, or they just were afraid to respond as we're doing this little experiment. Or they would read a sentence a certain way, and then I would tell them, did you see the extra word in the sentence? Or did you see the gorilla on the basketball court? And then I would play back for them the exact video or show them the exact same sentence. And when I told them what to see or told them what to expect, suddenly it would appear out of nowhere. I remember the first time when I was being trained on this, on how the mind deletes information that's objectively, actually observably and measurably real and there, how most people, the vast, vast majority of people, would not see that information because their mind, based on their beliefs and expectations about what should be there, would completely delete it. And I remember when I was being trained on this, there was a sentence that was laid out in front of us on a whiteboard, and there was an extra the in the sentence, and I did not see the extra the. I did not see it. And when I was told to see it and told where it was as though it materialized before my eyes. So those are examples of deletions. And then distortions of reality are, we don't see reality as it actually is. We see it as we expect it to be, but something else is going on. And this is proven over and over and over again by every amateur magician and every stage magician, every night, all over the planet, wherever there are magic shows or magic tricks being shown. This is how sleight of hand works. Sleight of hand preys upon the fact that we expect things to operate a certain way, to work a certain way. We expect things to be a certain way. And so our minds will trick us into thinking that's how it is. So again, this is one of the most repeatable facts of reality in just these little examples that I'm giving you, even just the little example about your little pinky toe, that show us that because we cannot handle all the information that's coming to us from the objective world that is observable, that our perceptions delete, generalize, and distort in order to make the world fit our expectations and in order to make the world fit our beliefs. So this is a real problem. And this is where something that is talked about in logical thinking, in liberal arts educations, or that is taken account of in well-designed scientific experiments, that we have to be able to operate around in order to understand objective reality out there. In order to deal with the reality that's out there, we have to delete certain information, and we delete that information based upon our beliefs. Why am I talking about this? Because I've been talking about my live videos. If you've watched them recently, I've been talking about the supernatural. I've been talking about the paranormal. And one of the things I got into in my video this last Sunday was that people who experience on a consistent basis supernatural events have a completely different worldview than people who don't experience supernatural events. So if you believe that matter is all there is, if you believe that science is the explanation for everything, if you believe that this material universe is all it is, and that there are certain laws that govern our experiences or govern what is possible for us as human beings, then if you believe it strongly enough, even if you're presented with information right in front of you that would completely and totally contradict that, your brain, your mind, and my brain and my mind will completely edit that information out. So, for example, if someone does not believe that there is an immaterial aspect to reality, that there are non-physical entities that interact with us, that there is no God, then no matter how much those non-physical entities or those supernatural realities or God himself or herself may be trying to get our attention with information, our brains will delete it because we do not believe in it. So a person who is a materialist, a person who does not believe and totally discounts anything supernatural and anything paranormal, they will not experience it because they won't have the capacity to perceive it, because they will delete it from their model and their view of reality. So if we want to expand our consciousness, if we want to raise our consciousness, if we want to begin to experience the paranormal or the supernatural, then a prerequisite for it, without exception, a prerequisite for it is that we believe that the possibilities exist. We believe that the potentials exist, or we believe that these non-physical entities or God or whatever the case may be might be interacting with us. If we close our mind to that and we become certain that those things don't exist no matter what, we will not experience it. So people will not be able to tap into those occult powers or those hidden powers and abilities inside of themselves. They won't be able to tap into non-physical realities. They won't be able to interact with non-physical entities if they believe they don't exist, not because they don't exist, but because in their model of the worldview, in their certainty that they don't exist, they are giving their brains and their perceptual faculties the signal to say, anything that comes into my life, anything that comes into my experience at any present moment that is non-physical doesn't exist. So therefore, my brain will edit it out even if it's present. So it's impossible to move into higher levels of consciousness or experience some of these occult realities if you don't first change your beliefs that these things might possibly exist. Or if you can't do that, if you can't change your beliefs, then one thing I want you to understand is that your certainty that they don't exist will edit you, will cause your mind to edit those things from your perceptions of reality. So certainty prevents us from seeing the world as it is. And uncertainty, or being open to mystery, being open to possibilities, and having the humility to say, maybe the world isn't like I think it is, at least will open you up to the possibility of being invaded by things that you didn't know existed, and therefore give you the opportunity to generate new experiences that you're conscious of in your life that allow you to experience things that may be out there and allow you to grow and expand. So if you can't embrace beliefs that these things exist, at least loosen up on your certainty, and the world might open up for you in possibilities and ways that you couldn't expect. I'm Aaron Tomlinson. Thank you for watching this video on conscious spirituality. If you're interested in more content like this, I have a Facebook group that's a private Facebook group, New Day Global, that you can join. The link is in my bio. Thank you for watching this video, and I will be with you again next time.